Hello and welcome. I'm Patrick Curtis, your host and chief monkey, and this is the Wall Street Oasis podcast. Join me as I talk to some of the community's most successful and inspirational members to gain valuable insight into different career paths and life in general. Let's get to it. Another interesting chat with the WSO interns. If you're interested in applying to the internship, please check out the show notes. There's a link right there. Enjoy. Amir was asking me what's with the swag. I was just saying that I have a sales call right after this call. I can go for about half hour today, so not too long. So if you guys want me to review your resume or anything, please shoot it through the chat. Word version is better. But I know we had some from last week. I don't know if anybody that was on last week has their resume, if they could resend it just so I don't have to dig it out. If they do want me to review that. Or I can answer questions specifically about the internship itself or anything else career related. So anybody want to kick it off? Any questions? Any thoughts?
I have a question regarding Patrick.
Sure.
So 2 weeks ago I just started, and the thing is, like, due to some problem in my academic things, and I stopped it to work on it. So last week I did only one article on it, and I just want to know, like, can we delay like one more week like that? Because from the coming Monday, I'll gonna get free time to properly engage into the internship.
Yeah, I think we give a leeway of about 2 weeks on it. If you start delaying more than 2 weeks, it ends up being tough to finish in time for it to be successfully completed. So I think we give.
Yeah, because I think I tried to contact, but I'm not getting any reply. So from next coming Monday, I'm gonna get more time. I can spend 40 hours, 35 hours. That's not a problem from the next week.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, it's not. There's not like a weekly requirement. It's just a requirement to get through by a certain amount of time. So if you can put in more than 15, then you should be able to get there. You could do it theoretically. You could do it in 3-4 weeks. The whole internship. It'd be really hard. You'd have to put in a lot of hours, but you could do it.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, no problem. Ayman has a question.
Hi, Patrick. Thanks for taking out the time. You reviewed my resume last week, and I made some of the changes, so thank you again for that.
Cool.
Essentially, I had a question, like, for someone who's not got that much experience in finance, I was wondering what your thoughts were on writing an equity research report to, like, kind of display that kind of experience, and maybe sending that out to people when you connect, or publishing it on LinkedIn or something like that.
Are you applying to equity research roles?
Yeah, I'll be looking to apply for equity research, but then just to show, like, some kind of in-depth financial knowledge with, like, modeling and all that. I've been told that it could, like, boost your application a bit. So
I think it's a good idea. I think you just want to make sure you have somebody maybe review it that's in the industry first.
Yeah, right.
Because you don't want there to be like an error or a bad assumption. So somebody does look at it and then they're like, it could be hurting you if there's, so the good part about that is it shows a lot of initiative. It shows the finance knowledge and the skills. The bad part of it is it potentially exposes you to harder questions if you do get interviews.
Right.
And it exposes you to, like, if there's an error or if it's not done really well. If it's like, base level report, then that's not very good. But if you're able to build a super detailed model, put it together in a really nicely formatted report. Just to give you a sense, you saw how picky I was on the 1-page resume, right?
Right.
So imagine now having a 4-page, 5-page equity research report. Like, there's a lot of room for error. So you need to make it really, really good, right? The other hard part about that is it gets out of date from time to time, right? So you have to, like, write it, update it, rewrite it, right? But yeah, I think it's a good idea. If you can put in the time to do it, it can make your resume, it can make your application stand out for sure. Especially on, like, the networking emails, you can ask almost more for, like, feedback on it rather than always being like, hey, do you have a job? It could be like, hey, I've written this report on, I see you cover this industry, or if there's like a sub industry you cover, I see you cover this. I wrote an ER report on, let's say you're, like, looking at media companies, and you're like, I wrote a report on Netflix and the new lower ad tier, for example.
Right.
I think this is going to impact their subscriber growth numbers. Would love you to get your thoughts in terms of how I backed into it and the model and blah blah blah.
Yeah, for sure. No, because you're right. Because I do have like a mentor kind of person who's in the industry.
Yep.
So he said he would look over it
Perfect.
like once I'm done. So I was just getting your thoughts on it.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great idea.
Oh,
yeah, anything
thank
to
you.
show you can already do the job or you're already like decent at the job,
Yeah.
it's always a good idea for sure.
I have a question regarding the internship. So,
Sure.
on average, how many articles do we need to do per week?
I think it's 3 every 24 hours or every 24, 25 hours. So it's like 1 every 8 hours. So if you're doing a 15 hours a week, which is kind of, I think what's recommended, it's about 2.
Okay. Okay, great. Because initially, I started last week, and it took me a little time to get into the whole process. And even though I actually do love writing, it's a very different thing from what I'm used to. I'm used to writing, let's say, English papers or law papers.
Yeah, it's very different. Yeah, it's very different.
It is very different. So I was a little behind in that sense, but I'm slowly catching up. The thing is that, the article that I'm currently working on is not that long. It's basically model color formatting. And the articles that have been written about that are not lengthy at all. But in the internship guide, it says that it should be 2,000 words or more.
Mhm.
So is that like a requirement, or is that a suggestion based
Yeah,
on?
good question. This is a very frequent question. So when you say the other articles that have been written on that, they're not very long. How long are they? Are they like 1,000 words? Are they 500 words?
I think they're probably around 500 to 700 words.
So in that case, I'd want to try and aim for at least 10 to 20% longer than them.
Okay.
And if you're thinking, well, how do I do this? It sounds like it is a very niche topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like, oh man, how do I write? So color formatting and modeling. So like there's like color for inputs, right? There's color for linking in between sheets. There's color for referencing outside of sheets, right? There's all this stuff, but then there's also, you could say something like, what happens if you don't do that? Like, what are the list of downfalls or like negatives if you don't use color formatting, and you can like list a bunch of these, right? What happens if this ties into like assumptions on pages, like being able to see where there's blue and inputs, and making sure your assumptions are all on one page. So like you could theoretically write a 2,000 word article. I don't think in this case you necessarily need to, as long as it's longer than what the other competing articles are going to be at. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Yeah, so I think we have in there if it's really, really niche, or really like all the other top articles are like 1,000 words, then you don't need to read 2,000, but writing 1,200 would be a good idea. And if you need, you can always do examples too. Example of color formatting, you can show examples of different models and how they did it, and like errors, and you can like have images or graphs of that, not graphs, like a screenshot of like showing the different color codes and stuff.
So for example, say some of the articles that I saw actually do include screenshots and like model templates. I was wondering if
you should get our Excel modeling course and go in and use that model, and there's a whole lesson on modeling color formatting that should be embedded into that article.
Okay, so should I then, for the images and screenshots that I'm going to
and videos,
add in?
Yeah, you can ask Josh for access to that. Be like, hey, I really need access to the Excel modeling course so I can embed some of these videos, or the Wistia. Wistia is our video hosting. You could say, hey, can you give me access to the Wistia videos, or let me know where I can get the modeling color format video that's in the Excel course. And then that would be a great one to have in there.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. And then it leads beautifully into the Excel modeling course. You can have the banner on that, and that helps increase the length, stuff like that. So, Sanyam, you have a question.
Hi, Patrick. I have the one question regarding the same that Trisha had.
Yeah.
So when I was writing the article, like I started, as I explained to you, I started 2 weeks back. Because of some academic things, I was quite busy. And when I was writing my first article, it was on top global banks. So do you also have some criteria so that there's no plagiarism things exist?
Plagiarism?
Plagiarism stuff
Yeah,
like
there's
when
checks.
you write.
Yeah, there's checks. The
Yes.
editors, are checking to make sure that it's not too similar to anything else out there. Yes.
So as far as for like when we write academic papers, so we used to check like the minimum criteria is 18%. So what are the best possibilities in our article?
I'd ask Josh that he's more familiar with the Grammarly and what the editors are told to do. But yeah, we have a whole group of editors that'll go back and say, hey, this is too similar. Change the definitely for examples, there should be no similar examples. Like they should be all unique numbers. I mean, the examples can be similar, but the numbers need to be unique, right? And then the wording should be structured. It should be your own words, right? So like you don't want to be trying to grab somebody else's article and like just rewording the whole thing. I would try to read all the other articles that are relevant and then put it in your own, like without looking at it, put it in your own words such that there's less likelihood of that triggering a flag.
Yeah, because I was when we used to write about some institution like European Union or like that, so we cannot write on our own words. We need to write whatever the reality it is. So that's why my question, like, is there any minimum requirement that we can add at least 18% plagiarism? That's not a problem or the controversial thing.
I would ask Josh. Yeah, ask Josh that question. Yeah, because he'll tell you like where it's at. But I would err on the side of making it all your own. If you and honestly doing that, you're going to learn more. You actually read and like study it and know the topic really well and are able to write on it. That's when you're really going to learn more. Not if you're like copy and pasting, trying to rework it.
Yeah, because when we write in academic, so I had a habit to erase from the journals, publications like that. So that's what I just got in mind.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
For your question.
To go, please.
Hey, Mateo. Yeah. So anybody have any other questions about the internship? Let's see. For free, Greg asked for the free courses. Do any cover the CFA? Currently have, I think the only CFA courses we have are like affiliates, so we don't have that. It's but we have, yeah, it's if you go to /courses at the top, you can see the ones that are like you'd be able to check out specifically on Wall Street Oasis. Those are the courses that are in-house in our affiliate courses that we don't have access to, that we can't give you guys. I think there is a CFA deal. I can't even remember the company who's doing. Oh, Bloomberg Exam Prep. Yeah, so there's a discount through us. It's like $100 off, I think, for CFA Exam Prep for Bloomberg. But that's not our course. It's theirs. Sakshi, welcome. We got a couple other people joining here. Amir has his hand up. Go ahead, Amir.
I actually have three things to address right now.
Sure.
First thing, and you're already speaking about it, about the plagiarism thing. One of my articles, I included top banks in Jordan, and I wrote in my own words, like, when did the bank when has the bank established, when, by who it was founded, and etc. And then the editors marked it as a plagiarized, and then I had to change it again. So there are certain facts where you can't change it, and then I was like, there's something wrong. There is no way the editors are reading it. So what I did throughout the article, I left a space just to check if actually the editors are reading it. So I included a pasta ingredients.
Well, here's the thing, Amir. They're not the ones who flag it for plagiarism. They're not. There's tech that's flagging it as plagiarism. That's scanning millions of sites. So if you're grabbing it from somewhere else and pasting it in, it's not the editors that are saying it's plagiarism. It's a percentage score based on tech that we use.
Okay. For the second thing I need to address, I think I'm about to finish now 17 articles, and then I need to finish like 23 more. What do you think is the best step to take after that?
After what? After the 20? After you're done?
Yeah, actually, I'm aiming for 40 articles now, 21.
Okay.
30 articles in 1 month. That's my goal, just to finish it and gain experience. So what do you think is the best step to do after finishing those 40 articles?
In terms of what?
In case to how do I say this, to endorse my skills. Like I have the skill of doing quick research and having a very, very thorough and enticing content in my article. So I want to take a big step after this. Where do you recommend me going?
Where do I recommend you going? I mean, first off, you need to like get it on your resume or your CV properly, right? The other option is if you're doing an excellent job and things are going well, there's potentially a role for you here at Wall Street Oasis, right? So if you want to continue that, I don't know what your situation is, where you are, what country you're in, anything like that, or what type of roles you're looking for. So it really depends what you're looking for.
No, the thing is
like big step. I don't know what a big step means. Big step towards career in finance, big step towards getting a job, big step in landing an internship. I have no idea.
The thing is, I'm still in high school.
Okay.
I'm not at university. So most companies don't accept workers that don't have a degree.
Correct.
But still, I believe that with all due respect to everyone here, I think that my potential is too big. So I want to take a big step. But the same way, I don't want a company to look at me. He doesn't have a degree. We don't need him. You get my point?
I get your point. I mean, I think the only thing that I'll say is that, there's a lot of startups that don't care if you have a degree, if you put in good work and you can show them that you'll do good work. It's the larger companies that have a lot of, proxies in place to help screen thousands upon thousands of resumes. Right. So you got accepted to this internship theoretically because you wrote something good in the application, right? We don't accept everybody. I think we only accept about 10 to 15% people that apply. So you clearly crossed that hurdle. So what I'd say is, taking a big step, you're really young. I think it's good that you're hungry and you're motivated. I think don't limit yourself. You don't have to limit yourself, but at the same time, are you planning to go to school?
You mean university?
University, yeah.
No. I'm still in grade 11. I still need to finish grade 12, so it's still I still have time. So no, I don't have any plans for it now. Especially that I'm living in Abu Dhabi, and the university like I have my eye on is the New York University. Nabil knows it.
Yep.
But still, they require a lot of things, and I'm still confused. I'm really like interested in this, the thing I'm doing, the research.
NYU? So you want to do NYU?
I'm keeping an eye on it.
Okay. Well, I think given that you're going from grade 11, you're going to be starting grade 12 soon. I think you need to be
after.
Huh? In 1 year?
No, I'm
you
currently
just started grade 11. You just started grade 11?
Yes.
Okay, so you have a little bit of time, but not that much time actually, because college applications are due, right? In when? March?
Think no, and here the I think it started now because they have marketing campaigns out for the university.
Yeah, so my point is like you actually don't have that much time, so you may feel like you don't need the university. I mean, NYU is super expensive. I don't know what your financial situation is, but if you're okay, like yeah, and Obaid says I'm at NYU Abu Dhabi. Let me know if you need any assistance. So you could speak with sorry if I'm butchering your name, Obaid. But I think I think speak to Obaid, speak to anyone who like is already there and that has similar background to you. I don't know I didn't know there was an NYU in Abu Dhabi, a branch of it. So yeah, look into it, see what you need to do, see how you get in, what scores you need to get. If there's like an SAT or whatever you have to take, I would focus heavily on there. I think this internship's great for your CV, but I think, also try to make sure you have the requisite scores and your essays are really good. That makes sense.
I know a little bit about NYU Abu Dhabi. Some of my friends went there, and if you have great grades, they actually provide you with a 120% scholarship. So they pay for the whole thing, and then they give you like monthly stipend or something. So I think
Wow.
that's the only NYU that actually does it. But
Yeah, and then they send you 2 years with a job to New York, paid.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So it's 2 years in Abu Dhabi and then 2 years in New York. So
That's
you're getting
amazing.
experience in both countries.
That's great. Sounds amazing. So
One last thing.
yeah, what are your
sorry.
grades? What are your grades? Are they high enough?
Yeah, really high.
Okay, good. So apply.
I would just one last thing I wanted to ask you. It's just
Yes.
really simple request. On Slack, I just want to make it fun. I really like part of my hobby making memes. May I get your permission to make like a meme channel on Slack? Just add a channel.
Do what?
But
Sorry, permission to do what?
add a meme channel on Slack.
We have one.
Slack.
Yeah, if you go under random, people are posting memes in there. Do you see the
Oh,
random
really?
channel? Oh, they have in the past.
I know on the past.
If you want to help us with our Instagram and our social, that's something that's cool for the resume too. We do.
I would love to.
Our Instagram is mostly memes, so you can take a look there, see if it's something you could add.
All right. I would love to.
Yeah. So send me an email. Send me an email. I'll put you in touch with our social person. Maybe finish this internship. We can talk about potentially another after. Okay. Thanks, Amir. Anybody else? Am I missing somebody? Adrian, go ahead.
Can I send over my resume for review?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, perfect. What
Give me some of your background. Oh, I know you.
Of course.
Did you change your name in here?
No. It should just say Adrian, right?
It says your full name. That's what threw me off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course. What email should I send it to?
You can just put it in the chat, or you can, directly just to me if you want.
As a Word doc?
Yeah, if you have it, that'd be easier.
Okay.
I can open up. And remind me, are you at like we've spoken before, non-target?
Well, no, because I just graduated.
You're looking to apply. That's right. You're looking.
Right, and I'm on a gap year, so like obviously my resume isn't going to be like something that I'm sending to like an investment bank, within like a month or two. But it's something which I will be sending to like a couple of schools, and then once I'm in college, a lot of like finance clubs ask for like resume. So
yep. Okay. Cool. So let's look at this. This is a good example for. I have about 10 minutes. It's perfect.
Perfect.
We'll wrap up the call with this. Let me share my screen. Got it almost all set up. Here we go. Okay, on the left, let me jump in a little bit. It's a little bit too far for those of you so you can actually read it. Okay, and then the left, this is too big. View, zoom. 150. Let's go to 150. Let's go to 150 here. So just real quick before I even dive into the content, I like our template better than this. This is like very bold. I don't know, this LinkedIn link is really ugly up here. Your name's really tiny for a resume.
Okay.
So maybe just bring it over to our format.
Okay.
Like this spacing is ugly. I'm starting off with just the easy stuff in terms of like spacing. Like this spacing is a little weirder. Like you always want to have like in terms of like design, like there's lots of horizontal lines here. So it's good for division of my eye. And it's bad for like aesthetics.
Right.
So I'd prefer something like this where, when you have a big header, the other stuff is tucked underneath it so that the space between sections here isn't the same. So like this makes it hard for me to like see that this is a break. You got to give me visual white space, more white space here than here.
Right.
So the stuff tucked underneath the section should be tucked up underneath it closer than what a new section would have. So like the space between here, between here, between here, and between here should always be larger than the space right below it.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
And that's just basic design stuff. But let me see here. Education. So that's good. You have education up top, which makes sense. So let's just go like start from the top. Okay. So summer immersion program. Is this for like one semester?
Yeah, it was for it was like a summer course for 5 weeks, except for credit. So like, which I did through
What's the main purpose of this resume? Is it for applying to colleges, or is it for like eventually once you're into applying to the investment bank?
It's for both. It's mainly for both.
Okay. So I'm not as well versed like prepping people with high school resumes. I have
Right. No. Yeah. I get that.
So I think all this is good. Showing your SATs, GPA is great. AP stats, world history, macroeconomics, honors, scholar distinctions, college award, Menlo Park Honorary, Scholastic Achievement Award. Okay, great. You might be able to get this onto one line here. So like this award, we might want a section for awards. I'll have to see like what other awards you may have.
Okay.
But it might be good to like list them down here as like a separate section of like awards. I've seen that before and it looks nice.
All right.
Yeah, honors achievements. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
You already have a whole section for that, so it's kind of weird that you're putting this up here. I guess it's related to your academic.
Yeah,
awards.
yeah. Because for the honors and achievements, I put more like things. Yeah, which I
don't like calling it an experience, a virtual experience where you just attend something, an achievement or award.
Okay. No,
unless what's the percentage of people that have like get into this? Do you know?
Well, it's yeah, like you don't really apply like so I don't know if you know what Forge is. They said it's just like a site where you create an account and then it makes you do sort of like things for like the investment banking virtual experience, like to do like a SWOT analysis, to do like Excel work.
So
and then
I would prefer if you don't have a whole honor and achievement sections, I'd prefer if you had something here, additional information, you had something like, instead of certifications, you had like, you had something like not awards, but finance or something like that. And then you have like Forge, JP Morgan, virtual experience, this, you get those in there. And then the competition and this stuff is almost like honor, or you could say honors.
Right.
And then list out a whole section here with that. And do you have a second language besides English or no?
Yes, French. I have that all the way at the bottom in the skills section.
Yeah, native. So like, you could have skills, fluent in native French speaker, proficient in Spanish, perfect. There for modeling, I would try to get some stuff in there.
Okay. Perfect.
Rather than just generic like Microsoft Excel, you could do that here on the computer, proficient Excel, PowerPoint. But I actually prefer to be skills, modeling, and then like you don't need to repeat your proficient Excel, PowerPoint, Kappa, right. Instead of computer, you could have awards there. Or honors rather, honors. And then you kind of lay out your honors of shorten this a little bit. So AP distinction, college board, Rotary Club. You have this third place for global research and consulting case competition, right? I think that would go well there. Try to get it on either one full line or two full lines. Right. Don't have it wrap one word over.
Right, definitely.
Because you want to eventually get good at like using your space here. Internship experience, promoted 1 month chief editor, responsible writing or 30 articles managed. Edited 60,000. So put a comment here.
Okay.
60,000 words. You have a bolded parentheses looks odd here, the format.
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
You don't here. Yeah, instead of by the internship, just say 200 hours of self-study, since it's going to be by the time somebody looks at this.
True. Okay.
Or just say over 100 hours if you haven't done a full 200 hours. Okay.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Subtitles, articles, formatting, help with search engine optimization. You have an extra space here.
Oh,
resulting in there's an extra space there. These little things are like a big deal, but it's like collectively like the header not being right, the spacing here, the spacing there, this little bold thing here, this little space here. Like, look, for a high school resume, this is really solid, like really solid, like one of the better ones I've seen. But my point is, like, by the time you start applying for jobs, you want to have everything like really dialed in on all these little things, like the design, the language. So let's look at, I mean, these I like. I kind of like this other bullet here, research appropriate subtitles and develop examples. I kind of like, you have it here, the edited 60,000 words. This is good, this first one.
Right.
This one's too long. You could shorten it with just the 200 hours, like I said. This just feels, give me more around which articles you edited. Edited 60 hours, including financial modeling, whatever it is.
Right. That's
give me some keywords, like use that space right there to give yourself more buzzwords. You know, did you edit stuff on discounted cash flow, this, that, right?
Right.
So that way it's like you sound even more financy, right?
Right.
Final research project here. Sorry, I'm jumping around a little bit, but like how many pages, what was it done? Like, I don't know if that's worth a whole bullet.
Good point.
Unless you just give me more specifics. What was the outcome here? It's just a 4-week thing. I don't know if we need 2 full bullets here.
Right.
Unless you feel like it was like a really good experience and interesting, and maybe it's a good thing to discuss. Overall, like really solid, man. Like, yeah, I think all this stuff I'm telling you is like more around the edges, right? It's formatting, potential members, research and publish 3 economic articles. How long?
Okay, right. So putting like, yeah. So when you talk about like length, I assume like word count is probably the more important one, because like page is subjective. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll put a comment in there.
You can say like, yeah, something like that if it's impressive. If it's only like 500 words, it's not that impressive.
Right.
But if it's something like that, that would be cool.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely highlight, give yourself some more stuff, because what you didn't do is like, look at here, a detailed financial evaluation, Excel, accounting, economic topics, including cash conversion, right? We really this is called like keyword stuffing, right? We're stuffing the resume with like really valuable, like cash flow from finance. It's just, you know what this is doing? It's like, oh, he knows about all this stuff now.
Yeah, actually.
Right. So it's like a way to kind of brag in a more subtle way.
Right.
Honors convocations. And I don't know if we want to just say AP. Why don't you just say honors convocation awards, AP classes included, statistics, environmental sciences, world history, and macroeconomics.
Good point.
A little cleaner, right?
Right.
This is good. I mean, yeah, other than that, this I don't like, tiny name and bolded like across. It's not giving me like a thing. It's just, and you don't need this space, man. Like if you just bring it over to this format, you won't need it.
Right.
You have pretty good margin. You have pretty thick margins right now too.
Yeah. And either way, at the bottom, I think there was like still like 2 kind of like lines which I could have added stuff on.
Yeah. And so like, I think beefing up this bullet, getting it to a full second line is cool. You know, maybe this might actually reduce it, but don't worry about reducing it. Like, cause then you can maybe have an extra section here. So like maybe you have skills, maybe you keep the modeling,
right?
Maybe you keep like computer in there.
Right.
And then certifications, you could mention the certifications from the Wall Street Oasis courses you've taken already.
Okay. Yes.
You could again hit them again over the head with like certified in discounted cash flow, PowerPoint finance, valuation, LBO modeling, M&A, 3-statement modeling, Excel. You know what I mean? Then it's like, boom, you're just like, once again, just slamming them over the head with the fact that you're a modeler.
Definitely.
That's it, man.
All right. Perfect. Yeah. And then I guess one last question. So like, I assume like this, like might not apply for like kind of more finance things. If I've done sort of like internships or like experience more in like journalism, you know, even if it doesn't have to do with finance, would just saying that like, you know, I've gone into like an internship like that, would that, you know, help at all, or would that just be wasted space?
I think you may have room for it right now.
Okay.
Because you're still in high, like, I think that's the first thing you'll remove once you start in college. But I think now having maybe under the tokenized commodities internship,
Right.
having another one there with 2 bullets around like what you wrote, the
Right.
topics, I think is a good conversation starter, and just shows that like you probably have better writing chops than most kids going into school.
Okay. All right.
And that's important for finance. Like you need to be able to write well.
Definitely.
So, was that helpful?
Yes, absolutely. And just to make sure now, do all the meetings start at 2 now instead of 3?
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, because I have something now in the afternoons here in California. So
Okay. No worries. No worries. I just
sorry about that.
I need to set an alarm next time because I'm still waiting on 3, and then the email just caught me by surprise. But
Yeah,
no
so yeah, we'll be running it at this time from now on. But
Perfect.
yeah, let me know if you want me to take a look at it again. If you want us to review it again on here, we're happy to do that.
All right.
When you make a lot of changes, sometimes there's other errors that are introduced.
Right.
So if you want to review it again, we can do that. And I think I have to call it, guys. I have an important call in 10, 15 minutes, so I gotta hop off and prep for that. But thanks everybody for joining this week. We will see you again next week.
Of course. Thank you so much for the review.
Bye, everybody. And thanks to you, my listeners at Wall Street Oasis. If you have any suggestions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to send them my way, Patrick@wallstreetoasis.com. Until next time.